What's going on, everybody? Law of Polaris, John and Will. Thank you all for tuning in. We do have a Kellen Winslow Jr. update. If you're not familiar with this situation, definitely go back and look at the first video I did about Kellen Winslow and his arrest charges on multiple counts of rape, kidnapping. Now, in the first video, I did a lot of psychoanalyzing. I tend to do that, being that psychology is my background. I talked about if Winslow was the person to do these crimes, it could be a post-NFL CTE problem. It could be a drug use problem. I went into depth about all that. But I did say that Winslow's defense was that this is a case of mistaken identity and racial profiling, as unlikely as that is. However, it turns out that yesterday, 3 women came forward to testify, and none of them could identify Kellen Winslow as their attacker. So this is all a part of a preliminary hearing. This is a mini trial where the judge will decide if, Kellen Winslow will actually go to trial. Now, one woman says she never got a good look at the man who exposed himself in her garden. This was the guy who, whipped his thing out. And, I went into a whole story about, people who do stuff like that, the psychological issues that they may have. She's saying she never got a good look at him, so she couldn't ID Winslow as the guy. Another said that the man she found in her laundry room was not in the courtroom. So whoever it was who broke into her home, and according to her, wasn't Kellen Winslow. And the third woman mistook Winslow's attorney, one of his attorneys, as the person that assaulted her and not Kellen Winslow. So she actually pointed out the wrong guy. Now, I tried to find a picture of what Kellen Winslow's lawyer looks like. I found the one picture from the article. And if it's this guy who's also he seems like a pretty tall, light-skinned black guy. If that's the guy she mistaken, and this dude looks nothing like Kellen Winslow. So he might be right. This might be a case of mistaken identity and racial profiling of, oh, there's a tall, light-skinned black guy. It was him, officer. It was him. On the other hand, we're talking about middle-aged, elderly women, age range from 50 to 70. Bottom line is they can't positively ID him. And the reason why we have this mini trial in the first place is, the cops they must not have anything, because if they had physical evidence, if they had surveillance video, this is going to trial regardless. If they have that type of concrete evidence, if all you're relying on statements and eyeball witnesses, then this is not a strong case to begin with if that's all you have, especially if the first 3 people testifying can't even ID him. Now today, Thursday, July 12th, they're bringing the second of 2 rape victims to the stand. I believe if she can't ID Winslow as her accuser, I don't think you have a case. With that said, it's sort of bittersweet. As a fan of Kellen Winslow Jr., I didn't want this to be true. If it's not him, I want him free. I want him walking the streets. I want his name cleared. But if it's not him, then that means there is a sick, psychopathic man out there stalking, raping, and kidnapping women in that area, and he's still out there, and that is very, very unsettling. So if it's not Winslow, they need to leave the man alone. Let him go home, and they need to be out there finding this guy who's because clearly somebody's out here doing this. But there's a strong possibility that that person might not be Kellen Winslow Jr. Anyway, I am following this case. I will be giving you, updates as they occur. Once again, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe.